customer sent us a check for $21. However, one of our delivery drivers lost the check and the customer had to stop the payment, which cost him $30. Wow, that's a bad day. I'm feeling you on this one. Therefore, the customer sent us a check for $91 for his next order instead of $121. Okay, got that. So they docked the $30. And the driver who lost the check is paying us the $30. How do we record all of this? Okay, got that. So I'm really glad you asked, and I'm really glad you don't know, because if this happens, if you knew already, then probably this happens a lot. So let's always find the silver lining. Thank goodness you don't know the answer to this question. So here it is. So what we have here is a situation with a lot of different moving parts. And I'll tell you this right now, a lot of the questions that I've gotten over the 14 years that I've been in accounting have been out of a context of collapsing into one line, like one verbal line, multiple things that happened in reality. Of course you can't book that. That's confusing, it's mishmash, it's chaos, it's vague. So what we do here is suss out each situation one by one, and we solve each problem one by one, and then boop, you get to the end, like, oh, ding, right? Like somebody do a little glockenspiel, ding. So that's how we're gonna take this. So first of all, the customer sent a check for $21. I get that the customer paid that, except we also know that in reality, it didn't get into the bank. So next up, so for that step, for the moment, we're not going to record a customer payment in your accounting system because it didn't get to you. But don't worry, we're not done. Next, the customer had a stop payment fee of $30. Okay, noted. Nothing yet happens in the books for a customer doing a stop payment of $30. He placed an order of $121. So in your system should be a sales order or an invoice for $121. He sent a check of only $91. Okay, got that. So now at this point, what you want to do is record a payment of $121, but write off $30 of it. And if you're using QuickBooks Desktop or QuickBooks Online, if you're using other systems, the write-off occurs in the same moment as the customer check. So in this one intrepid move, you're closing that invoice. You're saying this invoice is fully paid, but also writing off the $30. Now, write off the $30 against what? It's not really a write-off because you're getting that back from the driver. In what it needs to be is against some kind of a receivable account, like due from employees. That's going to be the write-off account, where normally a customer write-off would be bad debt expense, or if you're in the nonprofit world, it would be like for against pledges, like bad debt for pledges, uncollected pledges. Similarly, in the for-profit world, you have bad debt expense, and then the driver can, once the driver reimburses, then it can go back into bad debt expense to zero that out. That's the procedure that you're going to need to use if you're using QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks Desktop. The procedure really should be, instead of using bad debt, it should be some kind of due from employees account, except for that account, by necessity here, is an asset account. And if in QuickBooks, you write off a customer invoice against an asset account, it causes damage to the data file. Can you believe that? Damage to a data file to write off part of an invoice against a balance sheet account. It actually causes an out of balance balance sheet, which QuickBooks is not even supposed to be capable of creating. That's actually what happens. What you can do instead, if you don't want to use bad debt expense, you really want to show that receivable to make sure that the employee pays it back, that's fine. Instead, put a journal entry instead. You're going to put debit. I'm getting my debits and credits singles on. I need like sound effects for this, like debits and credits. You're going to debit an employee, like due from employees and other current asset account. You're going to credit accounts receivable and then apply that credit to the customer's account with the payment. So that's how you do that. And then of course, they need to pay the $21. So once they do pay the $21, again, you can apply that to the original invoice. Whew, right? I'm like sweating after that one. So that's how that's handled. And I'm sorry to say that it's different depending on different software, because it really shouldn't, that's like tail wagging the dog. You know, like you have to go with what's important, not what the software makes you do or prevents you from doing. The workaround is the journal entry, and I get that. And of course, once the employee does pay you back, then you're going to debit whatever method that the employee used to pay you back, like debit petty cash, for example, and you're going to credit that asset account credit due from employees, or credit that debt expense if you went the expense route because you're using QuickBooks and you didn't want to make a journal entry.